agitated pensioners try to get into a bank this morning in Athens. They're increasingly desperate to get their hands on cash to live on, and so is their government. Time and money are running short.
We are pensioners. The money we get is not enough. We have too many obligations towards the state, like paying taxes, and we need to help our children. Where can we find this money?
50 euros for a family of 4. My daughter is suspended from work and my son will be laid off too. What are we going to eat? We have to pay electricity, phone and taxes. I'm not paying anything unless things come back to normal. Tsipras was supposed to stop this, but now an even worse deal is coming.
To creditors like France, though, the latest deal is a serious, credible plan. The French President, François Hollande, said France would do everything it could so a deal could be reached that was respectful to Greeks who'd suffered a great deal. Europe wasn't just a gathering where there are rules, he said. It was a project, an idea, the conviction that we are greater.
First of sorts, a flight across the English Channel in a plane powered only by lithium batteries. This is the plane. It's called an E-Fan. It's been designed and built by Airbus. It's a project which has been up and running for a year or so now, but this was its first major flight, if you like, across the Channel. It took about 40 minutes in all and was just the pilot on board, successful crossing, everything looked very good there. Interestingly though, if he thought he was entering the record books, he may find he's rather disappointed, because only last night it appears a Frenchman made a journey from Calais over to England and back again in an electrical plane. So there's a little bit of uncertainty as to who gets bragging rights on this, but the pictures we have are of this Airbus E-Fan. Either way, good news for the French, because the French are the ones who are piloting it at the very least. Lucy Williamson joins us from Paris. They are great pictures, Lucy, and it's quite an achievement, but we're not quite sure who to be most proud of at the moment.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best, they're not sending you, they're sending people that have lots of problems, they're bringing those problems to us, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, and they're rapists, you went on to say, and some of them are probably okay.
How did you start it off? You said, when Mexico sends its people. When Mexico...
Well, let me ask you about that.
I'm talking about the government.
What evidence do you have that the government sends their...
Everybody knows it. This man, or this animal, that shot that beautiful woman in San Francisco, this guy was pushed out by Mexico. We bring him back and they push him out. Mexico pushes back people across the border that are criminals, that are drug dealers.
So if the article that you're basing this on, this Fusion article that you've cited...
Well, that's just one of many articles.
Okay.
That talks about 80% rapes. But that's not it. Just look at Homeland Security reports. Look at all of the reports that have come.
But there are, I mean, you talked about their reports. I got to look at a bunch of studies here that say there's actually no correlation between illegal immigration and crime, and that in fact immigrants actually commit crimes at a lower number.
You're not a baby. Okay, you're not a baby.
I'm not saying there's not a lot of...
Presents the greatest threat to our national security.
For Russia, this is without question our #1 geopolitical foe.
Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
Governor, you're tempted this morning to say, I told you so, but do you really believe that what happened in Ukraine had anything to do with what President Obama has or hasn't done?
Well, but there's no question but that the president's naivete with regards to Russia and his faulty judgment about Russia's intentions and objectives has led to a number of foreign policy challenges that we face.
The truth of the matter is that America's got a whole lot of challenges. Russia is a regional power that is threatening some of its immediate neighbors, not out of strength, but out of weakness.
In Russia, we have a nuclear power. We have one that not only has the capability to violate the sovereignty of our allies and to do things that are inconsistent with our national interests, but they're in the process of doing so. So if you want to talk about a nation that could pose an existential threat to the United States, I'd have to point to Russia.
A lui Omar Sharif has died aged 83. He was best known for his title role as Dr. Zhivago in the Oscar-winning film.
This is my well. God be with you, English.
Sharif was born in Egypt and was one of the few Arab actors to make it big in Hollywood. He won international fame and an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role in the 1962 film Lawrence of Arabia. Earlier this year, he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. He died after having a heart attack at a hospital in Cairo.